Good evening, Kenya. Thank you so much for staying with us right here on TV47. My name is Betty Kialo. So glad that you took time to join us tonight. I hope you had a fantastic week. Well, I'm going to try to make it better as we wind up this week. Tonight, of course, we have your favorites. Willis, the Word Master, he's going to be joining us live and direct from Kisii County. Of course, you can start, talking to us on Twitter or X if you like, of course, about the words that you want him to tackle tonight. But apart from that, also, we have a very interesting discussion with one Geoffrey Musiria, who's the Chief Officer Environment right here in Nairobi County. We actually took a couple of hours. We went with him to the streets of Nairobi to see exactly what the county is doing to make sure that Nairobi remains clean and orderly. That was one fantastic shoot, so keep it right here for that particular show. So we start our show this evening. Let's begin with the highlights. Ministry of Health announces the third confirmed Mpox case in the country involving a 30-year-old woman in Nairobi who tested positive. Human rights organizations have issued demands to the government regarding the rising number of enforced disappearances, noting that 29 people remain unaccounted for.
Officers who do not abide by the law or who do not respect court orders, then how else do we progress as a country?
President Ruto hints at working with the opposition, saying those interested in leading the opposition can step in after 3 years. This is after Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka's recent declaration of readiness to assume the opposition role.
Hiyo uongozi ya upinzani baada ya miaka mitatu, hiyo kiongozi ya upinzani tutatafutia watu wengine.
All right, let's begin our coverage tonight. Now, the Ministry of Health has announced a third case of monkeypox. The case detected in Nairobi County involves a 30-year-old woman who recently traveled to Uganda, who the ministry says is currently in a stable condition and is being treated in an isolation unit. Now, the new case brings the total number of confirmed Mpox cases in the country to 3. Ruga Eval has details of this.
Weeks after the confirmation of a monkeypox case in Kenya, the Ministry of Health has confirmed another case today in Nairobi County. Now, since the global outbreak began, Kenya has reported 3 cases of Mpox. So far, the Ministry of Health has tested 89 samples, with the government revealing that over 500,000 people have been in contact with these patients, primarily travelers passing through the 26 designated ports of entry across the country. The Ministry of Health has reassured the public that it is fully prepared to manage the outbreak if it continues to spread. Authorities are urging everyone to remain vigilant and take all necessary precautions. Monkeypox symptoms can include a rash, fever, and body aches, among others. The disease spreads from person to person or through exposure to infected animals or materials. With appropriate care, most people will recover within 2 to 4 weeks. Ruga Eval, TV47.
Now, with only 1 month left before the implementation of the new Social Health Authority begins, the Ministry of Health and the Social Health Authority on Friday held a national validation on the social health insurance tariffs on the benefits package. Elizabeth Atiendo now reports.
Effective 1st of October 2024, the implementation of the Social Health Authority will begin, meaning the 2.75% monthly deductions shall commence.
All systems have been put in place to ensure that come 1st of October, the rollout will happen.
For those who come from a polygamous family, the monthly contributions towards the new health insurance scheme will be determined by a 2.75% deductions on income on all the spouses with a source of income.
If you do 2.75% of individual spouse income and you deduct both separately, and you combine the two incomes and you calculate 2.75%, the mathematics is the same.
This means that if the second, third, or fourth wife has an income, then that household will contribute more to the Social Health Authority.
If you bring in a second wife, there can be 2 options. Either the second wife is not earning, thereby the family will not have any increase in their total income. So the income premium will remain the same. But if the second wife is earning, or the third wife is earning, then we'll have to include that extra income into the family and calculate the 2.75.
Additionally, the SHA board maintains that this move does not in any way intend to punish additional spouses.
So ideally, it is the income of the household that is being used to determine the premium payable for the household.
The Ministry of Health, through its CS, Dr. Deborah Barasa, has maintained that the Edu Afya and Linda Mama schemes will be enhanced in the new Social Health Authority, where maternal, neonatal, and child health services will be accessible from level 2 to 6, and the tariffs on normal delivery will be 10,000 Kenya shillings, whereas in cesarean section, the tariff has been increased to 30,000 Kenya shillings.
Linda Mama initiative will continue providing essential maternal health services, ensuring that every mother has access to safe delivery and postnatal care.
Elizabeth Atieno, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, Kenya joined the world in commemorating the International Day for Victims of Enforced Disappearances as activists continue to raise concern over the rising cases of disappearances. They have now amplified their call to President William Ruto to honor his promise of ending enforced disappearances. And Sheila Chelangat has his details.
From the anti-government protests in June and July this year, human rights organizations say they have recorded 69 cases of people who have gone missing.
Initially, it was 63, 37 were resolved, and we have 26 people that have been missing. Unfortunately, over the last 2 days, we've had another 4 people disappear.
Survivors of the abduction, still visibly shaken by the events, decry the attempt to muzzle their constitutional right to protest. The issue of enforced disappearances is not a new phenomenon. In 1982, during the attempted coup, an Air Force officer suffered similar fate and for 11 months was held incommunicado.
We never participated, neither did we plan or seek to overthrow a government. However, we went harrowing torture at the hands of the military that time, and I would not like anybody to go through such in future. It is horrendous.
The violations, however, have not ceased, and what's unsettling for the victims' families and survivors is that the president's promise of ending the arbitrary arrests and abductions remains unaddressed.
Officers who do not abide by the law or who do not respect court orders, then how else do we progress as a country?
The president has been very clear that he doesn't have names. Let us give the president names in whatever forum you can.
The names are there. The people are there. And they have actually told us today to stop using the numbers, but to put a face and a name.
Of concern also is that despite the adoption of the International Convention for the Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearance, 14 years later, Kenya, a signatory to the United Nations, is yet to ratify it. Sheila Chelangat for TV47.
Now, as the world observes the International Day of Victims of Enforced Disappearances, an increase of enforced disappearances has been observed in the country in the last 2 months. Samira Mohammed spoke to members of families searching for their lost kin, and have a look at this.
2 months after the anti-finance bill protest that were witnessed across the country, an increase of enforced disappearances has been witnessed in the country. According to pressure group Vocal Africa, 27 people have been reported missing, with most being victims of enforced disappearances. Human rights groups have claimed that police officers and the government are responsible for the recent abductions and enforced disappearances in the country.
Enforced disappearance is a gross human rights violation that is recognized even by the United Nations and under the international human rights law. And unfortunately, here in Kenya, we have had the president saying over and over again that under his regime, disappearances will be a thing of the past. We consider the government, the DCI and the NIS as the prime suspects in these disappearances that are being witnessed across the country.
Relatives of those missing left to shoulder the heavy emotional burden.
hata kwa nyumba. Nimegonjeka tu hata sijui nitafanya nini.
Like this grieving mother letting out a heart-wrenching cry over a woman shattered by a missing son never to be traced, and stopping tears of a mother who is left marooned, shattered after her firstborn son was allegedly abducted by ununiformed men believed to be police officers, an incident that has left the family ripped apart.
Nashukuru maana si mimi peke yangu, ni wazazi wengi. Mtoto akipotea tu amepotea hivyo, na hata ukitafuta usaidizi upati.
Petu Moses, hata kama tu alimchukua akiwa mrudishe, na wasimlete akiwa hayuko, amlete tu akiwa hai na tuendelee na maisha yetu ya kawaida.
The family of Moses Mwaura, a 25-year-old man who was allegedly abducted by men believed to be ununiformed police officers in Kibra alongside his friend Benface Sambaso, who is one of the many families whose relatives have fallen victims of enforced disappearances.
Niko na shua sababu si ni ule mtu hawezi kosa kujieleza. Hiyo ni polisi tu sababu.
At the time they were returning, Gumo stage terminus. Ndipo walikutana na gari Subaru Forester Bracken car. In fact, the number is given as KCY 370H. They were abducted by those people who were believed to be ununiformed police officers.
According to the family, the efforts to search for their missing kin has borne no fruits due to alleged frustration by the police. According to Samuel's family, a police constable from one of the city's police station has asked for a 16,000 shillings bribe from the family in order to offer assistance in the search for their kin. Family further claiming that it has not received any form of help from authorities.
Mimi kama hiyo wakati ningekuwa na hiyo 16,000, nafikiri polisi angeniambia ukwe. Lakini wakati alisikia sina hiyo pesa, nilimwambia niko na only 3K. Akasema hiyo Langata police station. Akaniambia hiyo pesa hiyo. Na so far hao ndio wako na case.
The father of the son, Mr. Jao, had gone to the OCPD, not the DCI, Langata. And he was asking for some 16,000 for him to trace the rusty guys. So we believe this is a police abduction. And the police are actually knowing where these people are. When they arrive, or they know where they are.
In Kitengela, we are received by another broken family. A family shattered after its son was abducted in Mlolongo by masked armed men believed to be police officers on the 19th of August 2024. Bob Njagi, a human rights activist and a politician, also claiming that he was abducted for his role in the protests.
Kushikwa kwa mbovu, hata wale watoto wengine, na watu ambao hawajitambui, na watu hawasemi ni wa kutoka kikosi gani, ni jambo imetuletea mawazo mingi.
An appeal to the president directly is that my son should be released and allowed to come home with his life unharmed.
Speaking in Thursday evening in town hall in Kisumu City, President William Ruto promised that under his government there will be no more abductions, forced disappearances or extrajudicial killings. The president stated that he is not familiar with any abductions or forceful disappearance that has happened under his government.
I do not want a situation where a Kenyan disappears. Under my administration, there will be no Kenyans in Ribayala or any other river or in any other place. As I talk to you today, I don't have a single name of somebody who has been abducted or disappeared.
And now many families are left with more questions than answers, as they say they face intimidation by authorities who are their last hope on their quest on finding their missing relatives.
Kuna mahali nimezunguka hapatikani, huku na huku hapatikani. Sijui sasa nitafanya nini, nitasaidika aje? Kama kungekuwa tuna usaidizi, mtu mkubwa ingililia tusaidie. Na tutashukuru maana si mimi peke yangu, ni wazazi wengi.
Samira Mohammed for TV 47.
Quite sad story there. Fantastic story there by Samira. Now, moving on, human rights organizations have sworn to submit the names of all those who were abducted during and after the youth-led protest, as well as those who were found killed in Kware area. Now, this is after President William Ruto said that until now he has not received names of people who were reported to have been abducted during the protest. This is some of the families of the victims of Kware murders have not gotten the opportunity to bury their loved ones.
On Tuesday, 4th August at 11 a.m., we, along with other concerned citizens and organizations, will have a delegation visit the office of the President to present a comprehensive list of those that have been killed and disappeared since the onset of the Gen Z protests, including Kware killings victims. This action follows the President's own remarks inviting anyone with information on extrajudicial killings and disappearances to share the same with him. We will take the President at his word and present this list, demanding that the government takes immediate and concrete actions to address the reported violations and arrest the killer cops. We expect a prompt and meaningful response from the highest office in the land, as anything less would be an insult to the memory of comrades who have lost their lives and their families who continue to suffer.
If Collins indeed the main suspect in Kware killings, how is it possible that the state allowed him to escape so easily? The escape is not only failure of security apparatus, but also a grave injustice to the victims and their families. We call upon the state to provide a full and transparent explanation on how this escape was allowed to happen. The Kenyans deserve to know the truth. Where is Collins? If the state has any involvement in his disappearance, whether he was being killed or hidden away, they must come clean. The people of Kenya will not be satisfied with the vague explanation or silence. We demand answers and accountability. The botched investigation, coupled with the alleged recent escape of the main suspect, Collins, raises serious doubts about the state's intentions. It is becoming increasingly evident that the Kware killings may have been used as a tool by the state to divert the attention of the Kenyans from the jail.
To matters education now, as the teachers' strike enters day 5, members of the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers (KUPPET) came out in large numbers across the country to voice their grievances. The Union Secretary General Okello Misori has tonight reaffirmed that the strike will continue as they have not seen any progress in having their grievances addressed.
On day 5 of the teachers' strike, KUPPET Secretary General Okello Misori reaffirmed that teachers will go on with their strike. These as teachers marched towards government offices only for them to find the offices heavily guarded. In Kakamega County, teachers camped outside Kakamega Police Station waiting for the release of 4 KUPPET officials.
The principal of one school, St. Monica Lubao, set them up, invited the police, said they were causing disturbance, and they were tracked.
Just come out of the cells. Shall not be cowed by any form of intimidation.
In Laikipia County, teachers called on the parents and students to support them in the strike.
If you want your child to be safe, stay at home with your child.
Meanwhile, Nandi County Senator Samson Cherargei has denounced TSC for what he said was intimidating teachers, further asking the teachers' employer to address the elephant in the room.
Kuna TSC wanatuma madirectors ati waende mashule waangalie kama walimu wamereport kazi. That is not an issue. The issue in the room is to resolve the crisis at the moment. Hatutaki kuona mwalimu yoyote anaandikiwa barua na TSC to show cause. What the teachers are doing is in the constitution.
In Nairobi County, KUPPET teachers have asked TSC to resolve their issues via negotiation as opposed to court.
We do not want orders from court. We want talk. And talks that are done in good faith, in trust, so that when we get out of this bad exercise. We shall go back to class.
The teachers vowing if their grievances are met, they will find a way to cover and recover the time wasted during the strike.
So long as they listen to the teachers, there will be no problem in the national examination. We will recover, we will cover, and we'll do the necessary thing to make sure that the national examination is handled well.
As of right now, TSC is being challenged by Kuppet teachers to demonstrate leadership in resolving the strike amicably by returning to work formula with the union. Anastasia Mkabi, TV47.
Now, students across the country continue to file appeals against the newly introduced university funding model through the higher education financing portal. As the model continues to spark mixed reactions, some students have complained of being placed in bands that tend to strain them, as Mazden Wambugu now tells us.
Undertones about the new university funding model are getting louder by the day, with students coming from low-income families supposed to join universities expressing disappointment with the model.
The band I'm placed in is not favorable to me, as I consider the background which I come from. I've been placed in band 5, but I hear even from other students they are complaining because majority are in band 5, band 4, and it is not considerable.
The students say they have tried all that they can to be heard by the authorities, but it seems it has been all talk with no action.
What was so wrong with the old funding model that we could not sit down and amend it?
In the same breath, student leaders from the University of Nairobi have announced a planned demonstration on September 2nd.
We have issued a police notice. We brought it on Wednesday, so let no officer say that we didn't notify them. Come on Monday, we shall engage in a peaceful demonstration and tell the government to listen to our cry, so that every learner can have a chance to pursue their dreams, just as they have done.
The model has been faulted by people from different quarters. Deputy Registrar of Rongo University, Deborah Molicha, for instance, confirmed that some students have been placed in unsuitable bands.
You find that there are a number of students who are coming from, low-earning backgrounds. So you find such students have been given higher bands, like band 5, a student who cannot even raise his or her basic needs.
Mazden Wambugu for TV47.
Now, 4 people, among them a 5-year-old boy, have been killed in El Nega area in Bangale sub-county, Tana River County, following inter-clan clashes between 2 communities. Now, sources from sources from the inter-clan clashes between the 2 communities, sources among the members of the communities indicate that the clashes were triggered by the arrest of 2 people on Wednesday morning who were suspected to have been involved in a rape incident where the victim is said to have come from a rival clan. Arnold Adidi with the details.
5 pupils today collapsed after police officers lobbed tear gas gangsters inside the Meru Primary School in Meru County. The police officers were engaging protesters who staged demonstrations against Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza when they lobbed the gangsters inside the primary school. Emergency responders from Red Cross provided first aid at the school grounds while several affected students were rushed to the hospital for further medical care. Today marked the 3rd day of protest by residents demanding the embattled Governor Kawira Mwangaza vacates office following a recent impeachment.
So how many students have been affected by this?
I think there are 5 were affected. But hiyo kutoa machozi, kila mtu ametoa machozi na kulia. They were about 4. Kuna moja imeingia mpaka kwa klasi watoto wakiwa, mwingine kabunja huko nyuma, mwingine huko mbele. Unajua wakati wamerushiwa, there are some who have jumped through the fence kuingia shule, which was bad. Please, we need peace. In Meru, we need peace.
The vibrant protesters escalated county headquarters, leading to significant traffic disruption along Makutano Meru Road as frustrated protesters clashed with the law enforcement.
Well, we do apologize for that mix-up. Let's now move on. A fire incident in Molem and Nairobi County yesterday night has left residents of Umoja 3 full of anger. Now, this is after 2 children of ages 3 and 7 lost their lives as a result of what residents have referred to as laxity to respond on the side of the fire rescue services. The fire is expected to have started from a candle in a house where the children had been locked in. The fire has left 30 families homeless, forcing them to depend on help from well-wishers.
Ni moto tu ya kado tu ilichomeka tu, watoto waliachiwa tu kado kwa nyumba, wakaacha mama yao kama amewafungia na kifuri ndani. Sasa venye kado iliisha, ilishika manguo zenye zilikuwa hapo kando, moto ikaanza kutokea. Sasa ikajaribu watu wakajaribu kuizima, ikazidikana. Sasa venye imezidikana ndio ikamaliza. Sasa zimamoto zilikuja, zilipata moto imezingira kila mahali. Wakajaribu kuzima, ilizimika bati, ilimaliza kila kitu, hakuna mtu alitoa kitu hapo.
Aya, gari za moto, gari za nini ziko hapa? Si mbali. Hapa ukiruka hii ukuta hapa hivi. Tumepiga simu, tumekaa kitu kama 1 hour. Ndio gari ya kwanza inakuja. Gari ya kwanza kuja iko na maji mitungi 5. Kuspray hivi maji kaisha. Gari ya pili inakuja after 3 hours. Watu nangangana kuzima moto, tunazima moto, moto haizimi. Gari zinakuja 3 hazina maji. Alafu gari ya kanjo sijui inakuja na maji, ndio anza kutoa kwa maji kwa hiyo gari ya kanjo. Kwa hii gari ndio kuja zima moto. Nyumba watu wanaongolia ndani. Nasikia? MCA badala kazi anza kunini, watu anapanda juu ya mabati pale kwanza kurekodi. Anarekodi nini? Badala asije kusema kusaidia watu. Nikamwambia juu nimeenda kuomba fire extinguisher za wenyewe ananiambia kurefill moja ni 5,000. Ndafanyaje? Akaniambia ati message imefika. MCA yetu anaitwa Nairobi Benson.
To some politics now, and tonight President William Ruto and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga's allies have announced plans to merge Kenya Kwanza and ODM in the 2027 general election with the aim of forming a joint government after the 2027 polls. Well, this is after the president said ODM will vacate the opposition slot to join the post-2027 unity government. And as Apollo Kamau reports, Ruto dismissed claims that he shortchanged Odinga in the broad-based government deal.
After a month break from international trade following intense pressure from Gen Z protests, President William Ruto seemed to have pressed the reset button and now plans on resuming the tours beginning September. Addressing a charged crowd from the opposition chief Raila Odinga's backyard in Siaya County, the president announced his plans to travel to China on a development tour.
Tuko na barabara nyingi hapa Siaya imekwama. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Na ndio hiyo sababu tumeweka mpango mpya. Na nimeuliza wizara yetu ya Treasury. We have the first 56 billion ya mambo ya mabarabara. Jumapili hii mimi naenda kule China kusign another program ya 40 billion shillings ya mambo ya mabarabara zetu.
In another trip scheduled for the end of September, the president plans to meet with the UAE delegates to ratify a deal that will see development of road and infrastructure.
Pale mwisho wa mwezi huu na pengine mapema mwezi ujao, tutakuwa na signing ceremony na ndugu zetu wa kutoka UAE ambao wanataka kutusaidia kwa mambo yetu ya mabarabara. Kwa sababu bila barabara hatuwezi kukuza.
All right, President William Ruto and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga's allies have announced plans to merge Kenya Kwanza and ODM in the 2027 general election with the aim of forming a joint government after the 2027 polls. Well, Apollo Kamau has the details of this.
President William Ruto used his 4-day Nyanza tour, which entered its 3rd day on Friday in Siaya, to prepare the region for a merger between Kenya Kwanza and ODM ahead of the 2027 polls, with the aim of forming a unity government after his planned re-election.
Hiyo uongozi ya upinzani baada ya miaka mitatu, hiyo kiongozi ya upinzani tutatafutia watu wengine, kwa sababu sisi wote tutakuwa tuko upande wa serikali.
Mheshimiwa Rais, nakupongeza kwa dhati kwa ile uamuzi ulifanya katika uongozi wako ya kwamba ulete Kenya pamoja, ya kwamba kila Mkenya ashirikishwe katika uongozi wa Kenya.
May the wisdom of the Lord.
A proposal which was endorsed by Odinga's allies during the homecoming ceremony of Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi, while proposing the two political formations remain independent until the 2027 electioneering period.
Mheshimiwa Rais, umesema tumeingia sasa serikali. Hata mimi sasa najisikia serikali vile iko. Niko ndani. Na nataka kusema hapa Siaya, sina nia ya kutoka kamwe. Si leo, si kesho kutwa, si mtandagao, si mwezi ujao, si mwaka ujao, si muhula ujao.
The deal, whose success is pegged on Odinga clinching the Africa Union Commission chairmanship, comes in the backdrop of President William Ruto's successful Nyanza tour, a region that was once hostile to him and previous presidents, and now returning the favor for supporting Odinga's AUC bid.
Tumeamua wakati huu vile tumekata kauli saa hii ya kwamba tunafanya kazi na wewe. Hiyo ndio msimamo wetu. Na ni msimamo wetu leo, ni msimamo wetu kesho, na ni msimamo wetu mpaka siku za usoni.
President Ruto dismissing claims by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka that he shortchanged Odinga in the formation of the broad-based government.
Nimesikia kiongozi moja anasema ya kwamba pengine kulikuwa na mambo ya kuchezeana. Mimi, I want to tell them, Raila Odinga knows what is good for Kenya.
The president, who tours Kisumu on Saturday, launched several multi-million development projects, among them an electricity project in Mageta, Siaya Fresh Produce Market, and the inspection of Siriwo Rice Mill. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Now, the Azimo Brigade, led by Wiper leader and de facto Azimo boss Kalonzo Musyoka, has dismissed critics questioning the opposition leadership. They emphasized that there will be no leadership gap if ODM leader Raila Odinga takes up the AUC position, asserting that Kalonzo is well suited for the role. While speaking during their two-day tour in Mombasa, the Azimo co-principals criticized the Kenya Kwanza government for what they said was failing to deliver on many of its promises to Kenyans, while expressing their best wishes for Raila Odinga's success. They also stated that they are ready to assist in any diplomatic matters if called upon.
The Raila kwa Kenya Kwanza administration, because lazima inchi ichukue mamlaka hayo, na timu imeundwa ikiwashirikisha katibu wa wizara ya mambo ya nje na vile vile wengine ambao Raila alikuja nao, ili waone vile watahakikisha kina Mudavadi akiwaongoza wahakikishe vile Kenya itachukua wadhifa huu. Ni jambo la umuhimu mkubwa sana, na sisi tunatarajia kwamba kila juhudi iwekwe, na tunauliza kila juhudi iwekwe, kusiwe double mindedness on this issue. As a country, we are united behind our friend Raila Amolo Odinga.
Ambavyo havijaingia kwenye serikali ni vyama vyote vya Azimio. Waita ni chama kimoja kimeingia serikalini, na ndio sababu tumesema wale tumesalia kwa upinzani, by consensus sote tumemuunga Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka kuwa our new captain, our new leader and the leader of opposition, and of course he will be working with our parliamentarians, kina Junet, Senator Wambua ako hapa, tuko na viongozi wengine ambao wako kule bungeni who will be working under Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka and in consultation with him. So hatutaki siasa mingi.
You are either giving Zakayo life to come and torment Kenyans longer, give him false hopes for 2027, or you are with the Kenyans, ready to acquire the country, ready to read the Katiba so that we can be able to again ensure that education is available for our children. Medicines are also available in the health centers. The programs that have been useful to Kenyans plus many other social support systems will be put in place.
Sports News brought to you by Maybet. Join Maybet leo upate free bet papo hapo. Fanya hivi, chagua home team to win, yani number 1 au draw X au away team 2 kwa game ya siku ya free bet. Weka namba yako ya simu, weka password ya account yako. Chagua submit free bet. Utapata free bet kwa account yako ya Maybet. Usisahau kuverify account yako. Kama hutakuwa verified,